Hello everyone, welcome back to Adobe Live and this fantastic stream about branding and identity with our lovely Naoma. Naoma, thank you so much for joining us here at Adobe Live. Yes, it's gonna be a very fun stream. I can see so many lovely familiar faces here in the chat. Starting from Pia, thank you so much for joining us. Tunk, nice to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. Jaitoremia, I hope I pronounced your name right. Lolita, and also I saw Big Brother first in the chat, Savannah. Naoma, we have a fantastic group of people that follow us, as well as so many new lovely familiar faces and new faces here in the chat. So today is going to be a very busy day, and before we start to talk a little bit more about our fantastic host who is joining us from Oklahoma, we are gonna introduce the beautiful busy day. So you are gonna stay tuned because you already had a busy morning. We're gonna have a fun afternoon, and of course the day is gonna keep going with a fantastic lineup of streamer. So I'm just gonna jump real quick into our schedule in order to see what's in store for you later on. So you started the day with getting started in Adobe XD with the Liz Todd, followed by the one and only Paul Trani with the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. And then Magdiel Lopez followed up with digital imaging in Photoshop. And we just watched Julia Masaska with her Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. And bear in mind, if you work on the Daily Creative Challenge, they will be reviewing the challenge live. So make sure to submit your work on Discord. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, I'm gonna dive into that in just a second. But also, of course, I might be mistaken, but it looks like the best stream of the day is about to be announced is branding and identity with Naoma from Nuevo Studio. What do you think, Naoma? Absolutely. Yes, we're gonna have fun. And I can see also Wade in the chat, Eric Sue. Nice to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. After us, stay tuned because there is another Daily Creative Challenge. It's gonna be a Daily Creative Challenge in XD with Jesse Showalter, followed by Draw Along with Kyle Webster, and Design Off with Vuduval and Meredith Schomburg will close the day in fun. And I'm just gonna jump back here real quick before introducing the Daily Creative Challenge that we'll be reviewing. I just want to learn a little bit more about our wonderful host, Naoma. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself, your wonderful studio? I heard a little bit in private, but it would be wonderful if you can share with us. Let's see what's going on. I'm glad. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Let's see how can we fix that. So let's bring that in. Sorry guys for this, but looks like your audio is on from here. Let me just double click again. Yesterday we done a trial and everything was working fine. Can you please let us know in the chat if we can hear Naoma, because you heard enough from me. They cannot hear you, so let's see. I can hear you fine, but of course it's important that they hear you. So let me see if we can try to switch your audio. I'm gonna try to if you want to try and talk and see if they can hear you now. Let us know, everyone, if you can hear us. We're trying to. Yes, I can hear you fine. So let's see. It looks like is on. Is the input on our wonderful OBS? So I'm just gonna try to reconnect. That's the beauty of the live. And perhaps let me just double check. Let me just double check I think I sorted. It was loop back. Do a test and let's test.
Test, test,
Hopefully.
test. Can anybody hear me? No, no, nothing.
Now I cannot hear you, but I bet that they can hear you.
Uh,
But I'm
I
gonna
can hear
figure
you
it out in a
far
second
away.
how to make sure that I can hear you as well. And um,
Andrea Parker said, Claudia, you
let's
might want
see
to put your
here.
speaker source to your laptop
So
speakers.
let us know in the chat if we can hear um, our lovely guest. Yes, fantastic.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
yay. We
wonderful,
can.
Naoma. So, if
this
you want
is
to
this
tell
is
us a
already
little
going
bit more about
amazing.
us, about you, I'm gonna try to figure it out. I can hear you right now because
Okay,
that's the beauty
yay.
of the live. But please go ahead and let us know more about you.
Okay, well, I'm Naoma, and I'm so glad that everybody can hear me now. It's Naoma with an A. Just that. It's easy. I'm going to be talking to you guys about this new documentary project that I've been working on, and we're going to be expanding the brand on it. I own a graphic design studio in Oklahoma City, the middle of the middle of the middle. For those of you not in
So
the
wait,
US, that is
and
north
everyone
of
in the chat, I
Texas.
want to say hi to Clyde and Andrea. I'm so sorry if you guys are there. I'm so happy that you can hear Naoma, but it looks like um, our lovely loop back, which is our audio monitoring, is allowing to is muting your audio for me while we are capturing it. So I'm gonna do one more trial. Hopefully we can get going. Do you want to try again, Naoma? Sorry.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
I
Should I just
think
start
that
that over again?
they can hear you, but I'm out of sync. This audio, what is it doing to us today? Um, the most important thing is for them to hear you. So I think that if you just hang on a moment, I'll be able to share with everyone in the chat how to review the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, and then Naoma will just jump straight away into your screen, and you're gonna start working, and I'll worry about the tech. But the most important thing is that everyone can follow your amazing work. Sola Os Mama is saying "Hola, señorita," and
Hola.
before we jump into the work with Naoma, I'm just gonna go ahead and go into my screen real quick in order to share with everyone a little bit more about the Daily Creative Challenge that we'll be reviewing. As I mentioned, Julia Masaska had started the Daily Creative Challenge today with a fantastic wristband, and about the end of the stream, so in about an hour and a half, me and Naoma will be reviewing that live. Make sure to hop on Discord, which is our fantastic community. In order to do so, all you have to do is to click on our community chat link. You can find it on behance.net/challenge/illustrator. And once you click, you'll be transported into the wonderful world of Discord, where you can share your work simply by clicking on the little plus icon here at the bottom. I think you have at the bottom of the chat, and we'll be able to review your work. Also, you have a link on top of the chat, and if you're watching us from YouTube, make sure to tune in on behance.net/live, so we'll be able to see your comment live. And I'm gonna now jump into Naoma's screen, and Naoma, I won't be able to hear you at the moment because I'm gonna worry about that, but please introduce the stream. Naoma is also a teacher, so I know that I can trust her to guide you through to guide you guys through the wonderful branding and identity stream. So I'm gonna jump into your screen, Naoma. Hopefully everyone can see your Illustrator, and we should be ready to go. So feel free to go, and I'll worry about the audio.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I guess it's on me, and I'm a little confused with all the tech issues. I definitely don't go live a lot, as you can tell, but we are going to be doing something really fun today. So we are, I was in charge of doing the branding for a new documentary that's coming out, which is called Redesigning Her Story, which is Women of Graphic Design in America. And it is definitely in the beginning stages, and we're going to be building out all the assets for Kickstarter, for pitch decks, for everything these next 2 days. So I'm really excited to show you guys a little bit about how I work and to also welcome your feedback if there's something that you're wanting to see. So I hope everybody can hear me. Can you guys put in the chat that you can hear me fine? I just want to make sure, and that you can see my screen. Right. I think all live shows have tech issues. Okay, it looks like nobody's answering. So I'm just going to dive right on in if we're cool with that. So we were super fortunate to get this awesome typeface by Frere Jones, who was donating it for this project. But this is essentially the poster, and this is what we're going to start with. And this is the final thing that was chosen. And I have a list of all sorts of things that we're going to design today. So today we're going to tighten up this poster. We're going to do a DVD cover, some social graphics, which is also going to be like Instagram stories and essentially like a social media template for them, some brand standards, and then the title names that will go in the documentary itself. Tomorrow we will be designing the pitch deck in InDesign, so that will be quite fun. So I am going to go ahead and get started here. This is essentially the beginning, but the first thing that I like to do when I start a project that has been the concept has been approved is I start a new library. So this is redesigning redesigning Herstory doc. And I just use this so that all my team can have access to it. So as we are working, everybody knows what the colors are. So.
And by the way, Naoma, I just want to say that I can hear you, and hopefully everyone can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, great palette. So. Thank you, Carol. I'm excited. Audio, great audio. Okay, good. That's what I like to hear. Okay,
fantastic.
So I already have my palette over here, and yes, I love working with really bold colors. I am from Mexico, so obviously I'm wearing orange, and it's a lot brighter in person than it looks like on the screen. So bright colors are my thing. So I'm just adding these fill colors in so that you can see it. And then when we move into InDesign tomorrow, we're going to be able to pull from these things. So first things first is I'm an align freak. So I'm going to pull out some of these. And I just want to make sure that all of these E's line up. And I know that I'm going to be crazy. And I may have already done this before. Nope, I didn't. So typically when I use type, I definitely go up and I use optical. But the designer of this typeface, she told me, oh, that's not working. Okay.
Oh, wow. So you actually went and meet the designer? You know the designer that created the typeface?
Yeah, so we're working together, collaborating on this project. And so usually I use optical here, but when I showed it to her, she was like, don't use optical with my typeface. So we're not using optical with this typeface, but you can ask all my designers if I open one up their file and does not have optical, I pretty much get mad. So, but with that being said, it's not on optical now, but I am going to line up these E's just because we're in a line, we're designers, right? We're paying attention to these details.
Yeah. So then those make the difference, don't they?
So then I want this T to kind of match underneath, and I'm going to pull out another guide over here just to see where this S and R are kind of lining up. I know that there's a major difference in the width, but I think we can kind of play with it just a little bit. And I'm working with a new keyboard, so my hotkeys are not. I'm learning again. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna make a box. This is how I align everything. This is the height of this her, right? And then I'm gonna make another line right through the middle. So I want this arrow to match.
And in the meantime, Naoma, just so you know what I'm doing here, I made a little bit smaller so everyone can take advantage of your screen a little bit more, because I think our heads were just sitting on top of your design. And also we have Sarah saying, can someone say hi, please? Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Nice to see you here on the chat. And thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Also, we have Steve Festus. Ciao, Steve. I don't know if you ever watch the stream, Naoma, but usually me and Steve double the stream with Italian lessons. Is
Oh,
super fantastic. Sarah, we
awesome.
did say hello. Probably she was talking with everyone in the chat. And also, I want to say hi to Valdair for joining us. Thank you so much. Kate, fantastic. And Katie saying you guys probably will probably like to move your face comes away from each other. No, we're
I
looking
don't
like, so
know.
I have to look at this side in order to look at her. That's the beauty of being in two different places. And as you know, she's in the States, I'm in Manchester, UK. So we're really trying to make the best out of this super distancing and staying and having fun together here on Adobe Live. So sorry for the interruption, and I'm gonna let you keep going working with this fantastic type. And by the way, I love the color palette.
Thank you. Yeah, we definitely wanted to play with some juxtaposition with it and also be a little bit bright and in your face. So I think you guys saw, but I made a box essentially saying this is the height of the type, and I want to make sure that this arrow is lining up to the center of that. And this is essentially what I do with everything is I just kind of zoom in and make boxes, and then we're going to take the grid off just so I can see if that's looking good. And that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to come down and I'm going to make sure that this is all lined up over here, you know, command semicolon, bring this back out. So see how this is a little off center. Okay, so I'm just checking in on the chat. I'm sorry, because I get in design mode. So I don't like that this like D comes out a little bit. So oops, wrong button. So I'm gonna just turn that over.
Don't
This
worry,
is
take your time. We are here. We have 2 hours, plenty of time to go through everything that we want. And I'm actually gonna while you fix your type box, I'm gonna actually remind everyone that in about an hour and a half we'll be reviewing your work on Discord. So submit the work, because Naoma is going to give you feedback live. I've seen that what you're building with Julia and the Daily Creative Challenge is absolutely fantastic, so we're very excited to review your work. And if you don't know how to submit, there is a link on top of the chat. And even if you have not finished Naoma, I always try to tell everyone that this is a safe space. We're all learning. We all, are experimenting. We are here to support each other, to learn new skills, sharpen techniques. So please feel free to share your design on Discord. Even if you're not done, that could be actually a great opportunity for you to learn more.
Oh,
And
for sure. I do not
yeah.
know the full extent of these programs. So if you guys see me doing something and you're like, there's a way easier way to do that, please tell me. But Richard, you're talking about when you said optical line earlier, do you mean align by eye? No, I do not mean that. So I'm going to show you what that means. You may have missed that, but I'm just going to copy this type right. Oops, wrong one. I'm just going to copy this type right up here, and I'm going to turn off my grid lines, but I'm going to highlight this type and I'm just going to set it. I just kerned it and edit it. So I'm going to set to auto. This is when you type out, this is normally what happens. But usually when you're using a different typeface, like let's use one of my favorite ones on Adobe Typekit right now is Acme Wide. It's so gorgeous.
So
So
do you go through phases and now falling in love with different
Oh,
typefaces?
100%, which is why I've been trying to rebrand myself lately,
Oh.
and we haven't gotten there yet because I keep changing the typeface every 3 months. So say we're using Acme Gothic, right? Extra wide from Adobe Typekit. Usually I go up here and I do optical, and it just kind of shifts everything. I'm going to put them side by side so that you can see what optical and not optical do. But I highly recommend almost always using optical. And the only reason I'm not using optical on this set is because the designer herself told me not to. So do you guys see that big difference between optical and not optical type? I know, Acme, Carol, I'm obsessed.
So also, Naoma, we have a little bit of a normal lag with the chat, so we always see the replies are not come straight away. So
Okay.
I'm sure they're gonna reply to you, but you just need to allow a moment for us to see it in the chat. So
Yeah.
do you guys see a difference between the optical alignment and the normal one? Pia also uses optical.
Yes, awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to leave those up there and I'm going to keep going down here. So when we made this poster originally, we just kind of made it really fast. So I'm just kind of coming in here and cleaning up things. So the way I'm going to remake this dot grid that I have. So I'm going to go over here because I just want things to be really straight. And as I was using this dot grid, I realized that we had some unalignment issues. So the best way to make this really fast is to make two, oops, space it out. I'm on the wrong page. And then you're going to go to object blend options, and we're going to do specified steps, and you can hit preview sometimes not. Okay, well, I want 9, let's say that. And then
and we have in the chat Marla saying yes, I can see the difference. Amy saying yes, absolutely. Alberto, what's up, man? Alberto, nice to see you. Alberto is always join us. I think he said from Monday to Thursday. He's always here on the chat following Adobe Live. I love the commitment and I love the community. It's a great place to stick around. Hopefully Naoma will have you on Discord and on the chat as well. And Sarah is just joining us from Germany. Hello. Thank you so much. So fantastic. Yeah, everyone is loving the optical.
Yes,
so
optical
fantastic.
is the fastest way to make it look like you know what you're doing with type. Yay. Even if you're just learning. So I'm just remaking this grid pattern, and I'm using the blend tool, and I want a little less of these. So I'm going in here and I'm doing preview, and I want 6. What does that look like? So I'm like, maybe I want 5, and I like that a little bit better, right? So the great thing is that then I can we're going to expand this object fill, okay, and then I'm going to copy it again, and then I'm going to do oops, I'm telling you, I'm missing my hotkeys right now, and we're going to just do the exact same thing I did, which is blend, make, but that's a lot. That's crazy. So we're going to edit the blend options, and I only want maybe 4 of these rather than 9.
Do you ever use the blend from the toolbar, or you prefer using the menu?
Actually, I've never gotten into the toolbar one. I just forget it's there. So if you want to point that out to me where it is.
Well, you were just it's just below the width tool. So you got the eyedropper, the width, and then that's the blend options.
Oh.
And it's it's exactly the same thing. It's exactly what you were doing. It's just, sometimes it's the workflow, the way that everyone habits are, and depending some people always like to go forever to the menu. Some people use the toolbar. I think that's the beauty of these wonderful apps, that you can approach them in whatever, you can create your own creative habits.
I totally did not even know that was in the toolbar. So that's awesome to know. I'll be trying to make a habit of using that. So now that we're doing that, I'm bringing out my grid line again, because we already noticed how much of a line person I am. And so we're going to I want to align it to this eye, but see, I didn't pull the grid line out perfectly. So there we go. So I'm just going to align. And there we go.
How did you bring the grid out?
Oh, so Command R shows you your rules, and you just come over here and you pull stuff out. You can make your own grid ahead of time, or you can just do what I do, which is just pull it out as you need, which is maybe not the most efficient way. And then you can unlock these grid lines that I just pulled out that are not using, and I can delete them, and then always hit lock guides again. If not,
Fantastic.
You'll be really mad about pulling those out.
Well, I think that the way that you work, it keeps it very flexible, so you can just adapt it to the design, especially because your work is so highly graphic in terms of shapes and typography. It makes sense for you to align to your composition rather than a fixed grid.
Yeah, I tend to do better when I do that. When I have the grid, I use the grid a lot when I'm doing type layout in design. So we'll be talking about that grid tomorrow for sure.
Ooh,
so I know everybody's going to be super excited about that. And see, now I'm seeing that this S is coming over now that we have this grid line. So I'm just going to, option track it, turn it in so that it aligns. This is essentially what I do.
No, but there is a question from George saying that he had to step away, and he wants to know if you talked about your background with this project.
Oh, no, I did not. That is a great question.
Yes.
So,
Thanks, George.
thanks, George. So I actually went to school at the School of Design at UCO, University of Central Oklahoma, for all those people who definitely don't know anything about Oklahoma. And I went to school there for 5 years. It was my second degree. My first degree is in French literature and culture, totally using it today, every day. Bonjour, I'm here. Um, but
So you can actually stream in French as well.
I can stream in French. Yes, it would be very choppy, to say the least. But so I was studying there, and then I was asked to come and speak. I was asked to come and talk. Not talk. I'm sorry. I was asked to come and teach design and global cultures because when I'm not doing this, I'm traveling, or I'm traveling and doing this a lot. So I went to school. I was teaching then as the instructor of design and global cultures, and then I went on to teach foundations. But one of the design professors from my university, she paired up with another professor from Arkansas, and they started this project. And since it is about women in graphic design, they were like, we need to have a woman and a team of women work on the project with this. So they reached out to us, and we were like, heck yeah, like we're not, I mean, this is totally up our alley. We already do work for a festival, so this is like a film festival, so this is like the other side of the film festival. So we were excited to see that side of film without actually having to do any videography ourselves. So we started working on this, and then the Pete is the professor from Arkansas, and he knew Nina from Fair Jones, New York, and she is a Swiss type designer. And she is actually the one who designed this gorgeous typeface, and this is the italic of it, which I love. And typically I'm not a big...
What is the name of the typeface?
Person. Conductor. Which I thought was a perfect really cool name for a female design.
I'm suddenly standing up.
Exactly.
Feeling it.
Exactly. So, somebody's asking me to speak French. Trust me, you do not. It's so bad now, but and I don't think I can even speak design French. You know, that's like a whole other level.
I just fake it. I just put the accent on it. So with conducteur.
Conducteur. C'est la type. Yeah. Okay.
Also, fantastic. Sarah Jones. She goes to Manchester University in UK. Sarah, I'm in Manchester, UK. What's up? What are you doing? I'm actually streaming from Prestwich. Since you are in Manchester, you might know where the village is. So that's fantastic. Sorry, I just saw Manchester in the chat and I got excited. And also Alberto is saying conductor is driver in Spanish. Yes, correct. That's why I was singing up and like feeling the conductor, but you know, we're playing with French because why not?
Yeah. Oh, I have some alumni friends on the chat. Hey guys, go Broncos.
Fantastic.
Learn design in French. I'll get there. We'll get there. I'm trying to learn business in Spanish.
We have a question from Jotirma. I'm so sorry, it's a long name, but I hope that I pronounce it correctly. And he's asking, any tips on coming up with visual elements to support the brand? I always have some trouble coming up with unique ideas for visual elements. So I'm going to pass the question to you, and then I'm happy to support as well.
That's a really great question. To come up with elements for a brand, I think it just depends on really the brand. So this whole idea was it was not just making elements. Our idea behind this concept was that since they're going back in history and talking to women who have done amazing things in graphic design history, and also talking to the future of like icons of graphic design history, we're essentially re-editing the grid. So that's kind of why we have these dots and these bounding boxes. So we're kind of playing off of Adobe's Illustrator and InDesign, as in saying, I mean, you kind of forgot about these people and they're kind of getting shoved back in. and maybe not shoved is not the right word, but it's definitely more of we're kind of trying to get back into design, and not be forgotten like we have been for so long. So I think that's where these elements come from. So I think when you're designing elements for a brand, you need to think of the things that, why is the concept behind this idea, like what's this idea, and what are elements that you can pull from that. So if you give me an example, I may be able to brainstorm with you
Yeah,
real
and also
quick.
I will say that I also would say that what I suggest is a solid research and a solid mood board can really bring inspiration. And of course, when I say mood board, I don't
Sure.
say find things that you can copy, but find elements that you can then apply into your design. And sometimes even in terms of conceptual mood boards, so it can be a word. So if you talk about something that is loud and sharp, you're gonna start to introduce pointy elements. And I think that keep it abstract, but I think, I don't know if you find this, Nauma, but I'm in love with you with the bold shapes and colors. And I think that you always need to find a fine balance between being too obvious but at the same time keep it the word conceptual and not making it too obvious. So it depends also how much you like simplicity. I love simplicity with shapes, but it's also important not to just have a single shape, or maybe just if the name is koala, you don't really necessarily want the entire face of the koala, but you can start to get maybe his nose or maybe the shape of the eyes. Just identify something that render the name and the brand unique. And I think we have another question for you
Uh-huh.
regarding junior designer. Let me see if I can find it back from Alex. Alex is
Okay.
asking any advice for junior designers hitting the roadblock and needing motivation. Well, you're in the right place to start with. Adobe
Ooh.
Live is a great place to start. But Naoma, if you want to give more tips, please feel free to do
Oh
so.
yeah, roadblock. Creative block is definitely a thing that I struggle with. So I also run a design agency, and I'm president of the AIGA Oklahoma chapter, and I also teach. So having things on my plate is definitely um, always. So I actually get really burnt out on design really easily. But I think doing things like these, which is doing Adobe Lives, looking at tutorials, I think that that's a great way. But also just stepping away from the computer and going and doing something else that you love that maybe does not involve screen time. So a lot of the things that I do is, if I'm hitting a roadblock with an idea, I just go watch a movie, which is screen time, but I'm talking about like video games and being on your phone as screen time. Sorry. Um, or
I
going
think
for
it's
a
a great
walk,
tip.
or reading, doing something that is totally out of design, because that's when you actually generate those ideas. You know how you always get that idea when you're driving or you're in the shower? It's because you've totally broken away from what you were doing. When you're trying to force it, is really not ever going to happen for you. So I
I agree
also look at
100%.
other people's work and understand what, not just like, oh, that's cool, but understand, oh, why does that work, why is that interesting, why is that different, or why is that color palette so good. I think that that's also a great way.
Yes, absolutely. And we have McKenna saying, Naoma killing the game, clapping for you over here.
Hey,
So that's
McKenna.
yay! Also, we have Chris with more Italian here. Buongiorno, everyone, or bonjour, since we're bringing all the
Bonjour.
language. We are super
Hola.
inclusive. Hola, we're super inclusive. We're here together. We're happy to be together with all of you. And yeah, let's say hi in all the language of the world. And of course, coming up to this question, let us know where you are tuning in from. It's always fantastic to see where everyone is tuning in from. Osama say that I don't like French language. Well, we love every language, but
Yeah.
thankfully here we're speaking English, so we just say hello and just a few words to say hi. Also, we have a question from Alberto. Naoma, do you teach design, branding, or art? And do you teach at college level? And what made you want to become a teacher? Those are three questions, Alberto. I'm just joking.
Wow, Alberto. Okay. Okay. We're getting into it. I do teach at a college level. I only teach about one class a semester. And this next semester, I'll be teaching design and global cultures, because and I love teaching. I love talking about design, even when I'm not doing it. This is actually the first time I've ever been watched designing. I usually teach it theoretically or more of design thinking. But I really like, one of my favorite things to see is like see the click in somebody's eyes when they get it or when they think of a cool idea. That's honestly my favorite thing. So that's what I'm all about.
Let's
Um,
and I'm going to interrupt a second because we have Julia Masaska in the chat, so I want to say a big hi to Julia. She's my dear friend and also host of the Daily Creative Challenge in Illustrator, and that's a fantastic time. Thank you so much for popping by, Julia. And also that's a fantastic time to remind everyone that me and Naoma will be reviewing the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. So submit your work, submit. You'll find the Discord channel above you in the chat, just at the top. And if you're watching us from YouTube, make sure to tune in on behance.net/live. So Naoma will be able to answer your question live. I can read your question live. So make sure if you are on YouTube to head on behance.net/live. For the
yeah.
Daily Creative Challenge, you need to head on Discord and submit your work. As I never tired to repeat, this is a safe space. Julia has been lovely showing you some amazing technique to create a fun wristband for a festival, and me and Naoma look forward to reviewing them so in about an hour. So make sure that you do your work while you listen to the wonderful Naoma talking about branding and identity, and we'll love to see your design. So submit. We're going to jump there in about an hour. So we got one more question from Gioritma. I feel like keep circling around some of the shape that I have in my head, and I struggle to evolve into something unique. Any ways to practice that it will help him with this? Or help her? I'm so sorry. That will help with that? So how to go from general shape into something more unique?
I would say you need to look at other stuff and how other people make general shapes into unique shapes, and then challenge yourself. I would say that maybe you have too much creativity and not enough constraint. So maybe sit down and say, okay, what are things that I can only make with circles? And you only challenge yourself to use circles. Then that's kind of when you constrain yourself in those ways. That's when something really interesting starts to happen. To jump in, I'm going to start aligning this. So I'm going to do Command Y so I can see the lines here. So I can make sure that these dots are aligned to this square. But you guys can keep asking questions while I'm doing this, but I just wanted to give you
I'm gonna jump back in the chat, and also we had everyone starting to say hi to Julia, but also they were telling us where they were from, and we have Monica from Tijuana, Mexico.
Hey, my home country.
Woohoo! Then we have Carol from Florida, Alberto from Miami, and let's see, we got Maria from Estonia, and Sarah tuning in from Manchester, UK. Whoop whoop. Alex from Seattle, Pia from Austria, Tunk from Turkey. Fantastic. I love to see this wonderful chat full for people from all over the world. And that's the beauty about Discord as well. Such a wonderful international community of students, designer, mentors. It's fantastic. So Osana is asking, Tunk, where are you from? I believe he's from Istanbul, Turkey. And I'm guessing they're good for those using math classes, right? Sarah, sorry, I probably missed something. But we also have Steve from New Zealand. Steve, what time is it there in New Zealand? I can't believe it's like always there around the clock. I always say that's commitment. I understand if you don't do all the work, because I don't know how could you possibly tune in with all these amazing stream. And then we have Ritesh from Firenze. Ciao. More Italian. Ciao. Fantastic. And Gioritma, after asking the question, he say, thank you, Naoma, for your answer. Those are a good idea to work under constraint. I completely agree. Fantastic. New Jersey from Anne, but PA said, yes, breaking the rules, then you know them. Victoria from Arizona. Fantastic. I love this super multicultural international chat, but let's keep going back into our wonderful design. What are we doing here right now?
So right now I'm showing you how I created these wavy lines, right? because I didn't learn how to do that until like after I graduated college, which was not really ideal. I'm trying to make some rules for myself. So
Mm-hmm.
all these lines are 6 points, where these lines of these bounding boxes are going to be 4 points. And I just used that Y tool so that I could make sure that I aligned all of these circles to their correcting points. And it looks like I missed something there. The Y really lets you see these lines without all the other clutter, which is really great. So I'm just going to kind of copy this over and align it to that point. Boom, that's done. Awesome. I'm going to go back to Y and make these things. So you select them. These are just lines that are strokes. And then you go to effect and you go to, where is it? Distort and transform, zigzag. And I'm going to want, I don't know, let's say we can do 19. I'm going to zoom out a little. I guess I should zoom out first so I can really see this. So we're going to go to effect and we're going to go to zigzag. We're going to do about, 10. Let's see what that looks like. And then they're not really what I'm wanting. I think that's nicer. And then you hit smooth. And then that just kind of makes those nice little waves for you. So we're going to make this.
So this is
pink.
the zigzag.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Zigzag, and then you hit smooth corner. So these are 6 points, sorry. I'm going to make them 8. I think I like them a little chunkier. And I'm going to copy it up here. And so I think I have this poster pretty nailed in. I had most of it done. But I just wanted to align and make sure that things were definitely right so that we can use these elements moving forward. So I don't like that that's on top of that, so I'm pushing that back. And yeah, there we go. I don't know if I like this. What do you guys think? Should I keep it there or should I delete it? I'm gonna let you guys tell me.
Let's zoom out and see so we can see the entire design and we decide if we need those shapes. We need some input from you amazing people in the chat. Let us know what you think. Should we keep both the shape at the bottom or should we get rid of them? Let us know what you think. And we're gonna wait a second until
that goes through.
Yes, until their reply comes back to us. And Sarah is saying, Naoma, how much would it be to purchase this amazing system?
To purchase the system?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure since this is a client. This is client work. I'm not sure, but since it will be a documentary that's for all designers. I mean, I could talk to people and see if they would be fine putting out the assets for everybody to kind of play with. But I would have to get back to you guys about that tomorrow.
Fantastic. Please let us know
see what everybody does.
So Steve is saying this looks amazing. And by the way, Steve, I was reading in the chat that you started the day at 4 a.m. with Paul Trani. That's fantastic. And now it's 7:30 in New Zealand. And let's see. Amy is saying that Amy Lamb will shift where they overlap or move them down a little bit. So yeah, maybe we simplify a little bit. That sounds good. And Alberto is saying that he does this type of style, but with a white background. I love the dark contrast in color.
Well, and we can let's see what it would look like with a white background. That's kind of fun. Ooh,
okay. Alberto, you're bringing us. Maybe we create a copy of it. We copy in the artboard. And Kat is saying, keeps the shapes.
I can totally do that. So I just want to make sure that everything is unlocked and I can totally copy this artboard over. And
so Arka Prabha is saying that we all have trouble pronouncing your name and we can call you A. Well, hopefully I pronounced that right, but most importantly, the question is, how do you deal with bad design going viral while you do a lot of hard work and nothing pays off?
Oh, that sounds like there's a story behind that.
Yes.
We
want to know the gossip.
Well, so I did have a client one time where they essentially chose 2 of the things that they liked and then they put them on Facebook for people to vote. So essentially now in all my contracts with clients, it's pretty much tight knit that they cannot post anything on any sort of social platform until they have chosen a logo and everything has been paid for, and then they can do whatever they want. But I mean, that's more of you just controlling what you're letting out, and how you let that out. I would say that that's a good way to control that issue. How to deal with it after, I'm not so sure. um, has anybody had experience with that? I just saw something
Well,
over here. So.
I had a similar experience, not with my client, but someone else has shared on LinkedIn some assets that I designed, and my client called me very upset, saying, "What, did you do work for someone else?" And I was like, "No, no, no, don't worry." And I just kind of wrote a very polite. I think the kindness always pays off,
For
and
sure.
I just wrote a very polite message publicly, just to, kind of nudge them and tell them, "Hey, we see you," and you may want to delete what you put out, or we can contact you in private. So very politely I told them, "Should we talk outside?" And they removed it. So I guess, you can always try to ask kindly, depending on how bad is affecting. They're always legal, depending if you're protected by a contract or not. So viral is a short term, and say Big Brother. Hard work will eventually pay off on the long term. I completely agree, Big Brother. Long term is what pays off.
For sure. So I'm just
Absolutely.
going to start a new art board to make some social graphics. So I think we'll do a swipe thing, like an Instagram swipey to do the
Yeah.
reveal of the logo of the
I
branding.
think we
So good
lost you
way.
for a second there. So if you don't mind
Oh,
telling us what we're doing with the new artboard.
yeah. So we're going to be making an Instagram swipey with this new brand and all the
Ooh.
assets that we did. So I'm doing 6 just to start it. But usually when you do 6, right, it comes out all like this, and then you have to piece everything together. But here's a cool trick that I just learned recently, which is if you go to artboards, oh, whoops, I already had that. If you do Shift O, you can do rearrange all. And then I want my artboards to go like this, and I want there to be 0 spacing. And so now I have them all in that little beautiful line, so I can create all
Fantastic.
stuff.
Isn't that super cool? And
So,
we have a little bit more of insight on a question. So Arca Brava was asking about the bad design, and just saying that in their town, in the town where he lives or she lives, I believe is he, um, everyone likes bad design. They just like them.
oh,
Well,
yeah.
just look somewhere else. Look to the good design. Just, I would say, just ignore. And I think we were talking with Alberto a while ago. I put some question boxes into my Instagram, and we were talking about how to keep a good vibe and how to keep things positive. I personally try not to give any energy out for things that don't make me happy. So, if you see design, or if you see people that push out design that they don't like, just look somewhere else. Turn your gaze wherever you may, to whatever makes you happy. And as long as you are exposed to good design, so you can produce good design, that's all that really matters. What do you think, Naoma?
Totally. I think if people are already going to be complaining about stuff, then you don't really want to be in that. I mean, people are just going to hate anyway, not to sound like Taylor Swift, but you got to do what you got to do the stuff that you like.
Yeah.
And if that means finding clients elsewhere, then that means finding clients
And
elsewhere.
nowadays, it's so easy to work with clients all over the world. I mean, I don't know about you, but I work with clients all over the world. Look at this. Naoma is in Oklahoma, and I'm here in Manchester, UK. And we're working together, and it's fantastic to be here with you from all over the world. So now that internet made the world so small in terms of work, I think absolutely, Arca Praba, go somewhere else and find clients that like good work, so you can keep your standards high.
For sure. I think especially now with the pandemic, people are used to Zoom meetings and used to remote working. So I say take advantage of that. So yeah, so right now I'm just making some extra little kind of this is the icon that we designed for the movie. It's an R
So
and an
cool.
H, but it's also like little people like going, woo, excited.
I was like, woo!
So we're going to be pulling these in. I'm making this essentially like a secondary logo. So we're going to be also pulling this in to the next slide. So I'm going to copy this, copy all of this.
And Kat Pascal is asking, do you recommend learning design or hiring a designer? So Kat, depends what, how many other skills do you have? What other things do you do? How much time do you have?
Yeah, it all depends on that. But I would say that learning what your strong suit is, go with that.
Absolutely agree. And I'm going to take this second to make sure that I mentioned, because I see very far away the YouTube channel getting very busy. We cannot see those messages. So make sure to head on behance.net/live. So we'll be able to read your questions live. Otherwise, I just don't see them. I'm sorry. But if you come to behance.net/live, we'll be able, me and Naoma, to read and answer your question straight away during the stream. And also, since I already interrupted you, I want to remind everyone that we'll be reviewing the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. So click on the link just above the chat on behance.net/live in order to submit your work. And in about a little bit more, like 40 minutes, a little bit more than half an hour, me and Naoma are gonna jump in and look at your work. So
Whoa.
wow, those are looking so cool. I love it. I love what's happening here.
So I'm just kind of playing with some of the stuff that we've already made, and making this big swipey campaign thing.
Fantastic. It looks super cool.
So I don't know if I really like that orange right there, so I'm gonna go to blue. And so see, this is why I love these libraries, because I can open them up anywhere and work with it. So here we're gonna do like this. We're probably gonna put this here. I did all the backgrounds on their own layer over here and just locked that layer because I already like how it's spaced out. I kind of like it when it breaks up a little bit, since we're playing off of that whole breaking a grid concept.
Yes. Breaking the rules.
Exactly. So since I'm pulling this, I kind of want this to be outlined. So I'm going to shift O it. I'll go and hit place. Sorry.
So we have a lot of questions regarding clients who don't pay, how to manage that. And I got plenty to say, but I'm going to leave it to you. And then I'm happy here to fill in.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I've definitely had my fair share of terrible clients. I don't know why this keeps happening, so I'm just going to pretend that that's not happening. What are the questions?
So what the question is that how to deal with clients who don't pay.
You don't give them their work. No, I'm joking. No, I'm not joking. That is definitely what you should do. But if they don't pay, you need to have a contract locked down, and you need to not start any design work until you get at least minimum 25% down. And if it's like a
50.
smaller project, then that's what I'm saying, minimum 25%. And then you need to have a contract in place, and it needs to state who owns this, who has the copyright to it, what are the oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting all that terminology, but what are the rights like, who gets to use them, et cetera, et cetera.
So I have a clause on my contracts that says that until the design is fully paid 100%, the amount that states in the invoice related to the contract, I have the right to them. So if they don't pay me and they use them, I can sue them.
Yeah, I have that as well, and I also have a cancellation fee. So if they get halfway through the project and then they decide, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, well, you have to pay me because I've already put you in my schedule and I'm busy. Obviously, I'm on Adobe Live. So, so we have stuff to do, right? I think it's really easy for designers to be kind of stepped on, and when it comes to the business world, and it's really we really need to work on making sure that we're holding up the standard, not just for you, but also for other creatives in industries, and not just other designers. I'm talking about photographers, illustrators, interior designers, all of that stuff, those tend to be people that are not taken as seriously as if you were to say, I'm a dentist and this is what I charge. There's not a lot of pushback on that. So if you get pushback, pushback as well.
Yeah, I agree. And we have a question from Wendy. I'm just going in the chat because we have this lovely chat on behance.net/live. And again, I can see very behind into my screen that the YouTube chat is very active. But please, guys, jump into behance.net/live if you want us to see your question. Otherwise, I just cannot see them. And in fact, I'm going to read the questions from Behance, and I'll be able to answer to one of the questions, which I believe was, I'm just going to go back. We had a lot of questions coming up, and let me check who asked it, but it was about artboard. They wanted to know, how do you know what's the size of your artboard? So how do you set your artboard size? Yeah. Hopefully I'll find out who asked the question in a second.
Well, so Instagram always likes to play games with you, right? So the thing that I've discovered that does the best is doing 1920 by 1920 pixels, and then you export it as a 150 PNG. That tends to not lose resolution. Don't quote me on that. Instagram could change tomorrow. We don't know. We're slaves to the social media people. So
I use 1080 by 1080, but I mean, I think that 1920 by 1080 is the size of the story, so I think it's very smart to use 1920 by 1920 so you can convert your post in story very easily as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's another reason, but yes, that's we definitely do play with 1920 by 1920, and I've just gotten in the habit of it, so sorry if I didn't explain that.
And also we have another question from Pia asking, when do you change for type to InDesign, or you do all in Illustrator?
Oh, tomorrow we'll be doing InDesign. So today we're just going to be doing Illustrator because we have all these big elements, and I'm just kind of showing you how you can really use both. I do prefer InDesign, but I'm just kind of showing both. For when I'm building out these kind of swipey things, I love using Illustrator because I can rearrange those artboards really easily. So that's kind of where that works really well. Once I have this type kind of where I like it, and since I know that this is like a title and it's not going to change, like there's not information that I need to go and edit in the future, I've just gone ahead and outlined the type, but I have the unoutlined up here because I'm not crazy.
Because it's always safe, play safe.
Yes, because you never know. So yes, is there another question?
Yes, there was another question. Sorry, I didn't know if you were finished or not. But Tunk is asking the question. He always asks the same question and always brings a little bit of, we'll see what Naoma says. What's the difference between inspiration and theft?
What's the difference between
inspiration and theft? So, what's the point until you copy and you're actually stealing work?
Well, I think when you're stealing work.
I agree.
I mean, I think you're definitely aware of it, and if you, I mean, everybody has access to the internet. You're not the only one. So, if you stole it, especially off the internet, people can tell. So, I would definitely recommend you not doing that. You could get called out or get in a lawsuit if you're dealing with clients like I am. So it's definitely better to not do that. I think when you do inspiration, you're definitely looking at a lot of things, right? You're not looking at one thing and then mimicking that. So that's what I would do. Also, right now, we're not really doing a logo. We're doing kind of this big visual identity. So usually when I do logos, I just make it black and white and I screenshot it and then I throw it into Google image search just so that I make sure that I'm not doing anything that I did see.
That's a great idea. So you actually research the work just to make sure that your eyes maybe haven't caught something else and distracted you. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Fantastic
Exactly.
way. Well, but as Naoma said, you know when you are doing things wrong. And I think that there is always a good way of stepping away from someone else's work is to perhaps grab elements from multiple works and integrate it and try to reformulate your own version of the inspiration. So, if you just have one inspiration and you do everything that you see and exactly as you see, and then most likely it's going to look like you copied the design. But if it's just part of your main inspiration, it's definitely going to be less likely that you get focused too much on only one design.
Exactly. So, but I definitely do believe that you kind of know when you're messing something up.
Yes.
So, yeah, I love all these questions though. Keep them coming. They're so
Absolutely. Well,
diverse.
think Pablo Picasso could argue that, and I think he's referring to Pablo Picasso saying that everything is a copy and nothing is original.
Oh, but I think
It's
everything is a remix, not really a
Yeah,
copy.
yes, I agree, and I think that that's what Pablo Picasso meant, Alberto. uh,
Not to ruin that idea there.
okay, so since we're talking about contract and we're getting busy in the background, I'm making a blank version of a general contract that I use for Print My Soul. I'm gonna blank out all the sensitive information regarding my business, but I'm gonna upload it to my website. So while we talk, since because it's such a sensitive topic and looks like many people are interested into that, I'm gonna create an asset for you to download. While Naoma is working on this wonderful Instagram carousel. I'll be hopefully today, and if I don't do it by today, it's gonna be live tomorrow. But it looks like we have some times, and don't forget that in about 30 minutes we'll be jumping on Discord to review your work. Have you submitted your work yet? Come on,
Yeah.
it's almost time for me and Naoma to have a look at it. And of course, I'm joking. It's just that I really want to make sure because we have a very small window of time to review it. It's just 20 minutes and they fly because we get passionate about. I don't know about you, Naoma, but I get very passionate about giving feedback. So everyone is then a last minute wants to see it. So make sure that you submit it in time. You have 30 minutes to finish it, and if you've not finished, don't worry, maybe we can give you some idea to finalize it even in a different direction, and it can be inspiring for you. So submit your work. We look forward to review it, and that will be happening in about 30 minutes. And if you don't know how to submit your work, you got a link above your chat on behance.net/live in our wonderful Discord community.
Yep.
So amazing work from Raphael. There will be a portfolio review today. No, Raphael, as I just mentioned, we're going to review the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. And then there is a battle between Picasso and Modigliani going between Alberto, Tunk, and Big Brother. I love how eclectic this chat is turning in today. But fantastic. So what's happening here into the Illustrator?
So
into
now
our Illustrator file.
Here we go into align mode, right? So I'm just making this little banner, making sure that it's aligning to this end. And I'm just looking at how this is going to work. And I kind of don't know if I like this stacked. So I'm going to bring this live copy over and make a one-liner so I can make this bigger. So copy, and we're going to outline. I know, oh, I keep hitting the wrong thing. My bad. I do know what I'm doing, guys. I promise.
It's just that we love also shortcuts. It's like playing the piano sometimes, and the hands can hit.
So, and then I'm just kind of lining everything together so that I can get these two first ones out. And then I have some quotes from some of these amazing designers that they plan on interviewing during this documentary. So we're going to kind of put some of those throughout in here. So we're kind of excited about that.
Sounds fantastic. I don't know if I
like this much pink.
Are you going to post it on your Instagram? Because I would love to see this.
Yes, I'll be posting this on my Instagram and my studio's Instagram today. Well, fantastic. My Instagram today and my studio's Instagram probably sometime this week.
And we're going to jump and see Naoma Instagram in a second.
Oh boy.
So, I mean, feel free to jump into it so I don't have to switch to my screen because if you want to give a shout to your Instagram, or maybe we can publish it as you prefer. But
Yeah,
if
we
we have
can.
it
Why
there,
not?
yes, I would love to see it. And it will be good for everyone to have it there.
So you
And
can follow
so,
me at Neo
yes,
Serna. So yeah, I'm half American, half Mexican. So that's why we have two
fantastic.
flags. Yeah, and I
Oh,
was
that's so
just in
sweet.
Mexico. So yeah, that's my hometown. I miss it. Yeah, this is mainly pictures of my dog and my family. There's some design stuff, but oh, it's trying to make me log in because I don't want to log in.
It's
Well,
fine. We can just the most important thing if we scroll back and we just see your username, which
yep.
is
Now,
Naoma. Yeah, go
now,
ahead.
now Serna. Oh, I'm speaking Spanish now. Naoserna. It's just a short version of my name, Naoma. And then
Fantastic.
this is my studio. Um, so here we are. This looks really pixelated, but if you want more ideas about, we have some really good type swipe things that are coming out. So we have some pretty good little FAQs that we post that are good for clients, but also really good for people that are learning design or wanting to learn maybe even a little bit more about business. I also recommend some really good books if you are trying to
Oh,
become
very
a business
interesting.
person. So I also have a blog that you can go and read all sorts of stuff about. Yeah, here's my dog again. I'm sorry, I'm gonna show her because
Oh,
it's the
what's
cutest
the
thing
name?
ever.
What's her name?
Her name is Prairie, and
Prairie.
she's Prairie because she looks like a prairie dog.
Oh,
So
how old
yeah,
is she?
she is 11, and we have a whole
Oh,
highlight
baby.
about her.
Oh,
So
Prairie. That's so
you
cute.
can definitely go check her out. She's actually right here next to me sleeping,
Oh, baby.
because she's always sleeping on the job.
I've recently redesigned my studio website, Print My Soul, and in the team page, so if you go on printmysoul.com/team, you'll be able to see my cat Frida as my PA role in the PA role. So she's Frida is actually there on the website showcasing. And my mom is in the chat talking about family. My mom is joining. So now my parents are following all the Adobe
Hey, mom
Live.
and dad.
Hey, mom and dad, they're learning Photoshop in particular, but I think they're not yet into branding and into, I think social media is a little bit step too far, but I know that they're practicing to use Photoshop to do photo editing. So, ciao,
That's
mama.
awesome.
Ciao, mama
Ciao.
Julie. Ciao.
That's all I know. I'm sorry. And Prego.
That's
That's
fine.
all I got. So I'm gonna pull in. I feel like this little top part is a little too empty, so I'm gonna pull something
Yes.
over. And I
Let's do
keep
that.
missing my hot buttons, so we're gonna. Oh, need to lock some stuff. So I'm gonna pull this. Yeah, I'm gonna lock that thing. So Command 2 locks it so that I don't move it around. And now because this is kind of getting annoying, I'm gonna bring that back down to maybe 40, make it a little thinner. No, I'm gonna go to 50. And then I'm gonna outline this stroke so that it just becomes a shape. And then I'm not, it's a little bit easier to manage. So then I'm gonna knock it behind so
Do
that
you
it
ever
kind of,
use do you ever use the trim view just to have like
oh
a little bit
yeah.
of
Oh
a
yeah, I was
clean?
doing that earlier just to make sure. I
Yes.
think that's kind of fun. I'm gonna see if I can even line these up because that'll be kind of fun to
So we have
merge.
Chris that is writing in Italian. Chris, please, the chat is in English. It needs to be kept in English. I don't know if my mom is behaving because my mom once was has been kicked out for speaking Italian. So we only read English. We reply in English. I'm not in Italy. I reply to you in English. I'm not in Italy. I live in Manchester, UK, and I travel the world, and that's where I am today. So Wade, you're so sweet. So Wade has actually posted our link and also the link of the showcase my cat Frida in the team. That's very sweet.
Yes. Well, we gotta have those animals. I think they keep. At least I know what I'm working for, right? So that she can
Yes.
have her grooming and her
Oh,
expensive
baby.
pet food.
Do you guys, well, that's something that we never ask in the chat. Do you guys have pets? Does anyone in the chat have pets? Maybe horses? Is horses a pet? Can this horse be considered a pet?
Yeah, I kind of want to know what the weirdest pet is.
That's my dream. I want a horse so bad. I'm like, can I have a pet horse?
So I'm curious about that.
Yes. And we have a
who has the
question.
turtle?
We have a question from Joritma asking, how do you select your beautiful color palettes? I would say, saying,
Ooh.
how do you select your color palettes?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I actually go through Dribble and Behance and I just like stuff and then I screenshot and then I put all those screenshots in an Illustrator file and then I make these boxes and just go crazy. And I
So it's
develop
like
about
from your
three
mood
color,
board.
yeah, about 3 color palettes and then from there I fine tune it to really get these colors. But we also kind of start with an idea, right? So like we knew that we wanted this kind of like hot pink in your face, but we wanted to pair it with something that was maybe like a little unexpected, which I think this orange and hot pink are things that people tend to not want to put together. But my idea was like, let's put it together. So
Has it ever happened to you that a client wants a color that is definitely like a no-no for the industry or something like that? So you'll have to negotiate what's happening there with a color palette?
That happens quite a bit actually. But that's where you really have to learn to educate your clients on really what's best for them. So if somebody, I mean, for example, like there's color theory, so that's a really good thing. But if your client is like a really crazy fun boutique or something that's like this and they want to use really plain colors, that's not really going to reach their audience, right? That's not really going to resonate with anybody. And so if they're trying to be a little wild and crazy, you need to kind of bring them in. So one thing that I do is I tend to go a little too crazy and then I can
you
rein
scare
it
them.
back in. I scare them a little bit and then we can rein it in, right? So
yeah. And also that allows you flexibility to really push it to whatever boundaries you want. So like in reality, you're just doing what you want, but it looks like you are kind of bringing it back a bit.
Yes. And that just kind of helps them see that there's options, or that maybe they didn't think about an orange and a pink and then they really like that. So there's those kinds of things also
And in the
that
chat,
happen.
in the chat, I can see everyone colors coming up. Everyone pets is coming up. So we have
Yes.
seen
My dog's
turtles,
name
Gideon's
is
pig.
Pickles.
Oh, that's so cute.
I
So
love
3
that.
dogs: German Shepherd, Yorkie, and Beagle. Oh my gosh, those are the cutest.
So
Steve
cute.
Festus, Steve as a kitty. What's the name of the kitty, Steve? We want to know. Marla is 2 poodles. Oh, I love that. We're all animal lovers. Wade has got 2 cats. I'm getting overly excited over this. Like, yeah, kitties. Oh, I send a lot of kisses to all your beautiful pets. Because all pets need cuddles and kisses, I believe.
Yes, for sure.
Alberto, okay. What you doing by yourself with no pets? Alberto, we need to send you a little kitty to keep you company. Fantastic. So a lot of cats, a lot of dogs. Audrey has a Great Dane, which is close to a horse. They're beautiful. Oh,
I've been wanting one, but
and
my
Pia
husband won't let me.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they? They're lovely, lovely animal. And Pia, a dog, a rabbit, and a guinea pig. Fantastic. Okay. Pia, you are like breaking the record for diversity, I guess.
Right guinea pig. Okay, I think that's the weirdest one so far.
Yes. And also, sorry, before we go back into the design, I want to remind everyone that in about 20 minutes, me and Naoma will be jumping on Discord to review your design. So submit, because we look forward to give you more inspiration. Remember, it's a safe space. We're just there to help you out, give you inspiration, give you some hopefully useful feedback. So, and it's a great way to get your work showcased as well. But remember, it's a safe space. We are all here to learn. I'm learning by watching Naoma, by speaking with you in the chat. I learn all the time that I'm here. So please submit your work because we really look forward to see it on Discord. And the link it's just above in the chat. And remember, if you are following us from YouTube, head back to behance.net/live so we can answer your questions and say hello to you live. And I think there's no more question. I was just looking real quick in the chat. Wade, fantastic. If you head to behance.net/live, Wade has provided for us the Discord link in the chat, so it's right there. Big brother, do you have raccoons or do you want raccoons? It went just like, raccoons! Oh, we call it washi bear in Italian. I don't know how you call it in Spanish, but we call them orsetto lavatore because they wash everything. So I call them washi bear, which I know is a very wrong way of calling them, but I think it's cute.
Who is this? Oh,
raccoons.
A raccoon, yeah.
Yeah.
I have raccoons in my backyard and possums, which I don't know if a lot of people have those.
Do you interact with them?
Oh, no. No. Not at all.
We don't get them here in the UK. We get foxes, but once when I was in the US, I was hanging out with Jesus Ramirez, and there were some raccoons, and I was like, oh, I want to go and pet him. And so was like, no, don't go. They're out there. I'm like, no, they're so cute. So I got the advice that like it's not a good animal to go and pet, especially when in the wild.
No. They tend to have rabies, I believe, but also I would definitely not go for that.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah. But I heard about there's like a crazy raccoon issue in Japan.
Oh.
So that they're kind of destroying temples. At least I heard that on a podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Recently. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because people love them so much. And then they
feed them?
Well, no, it's just like they have no natural predator. So now the raccoons are like taking
over.
So,
well, the raccoons are living life.
Little fun facts with Naoma. You didn't know you'd learn this today. So
that's fantastic. I'm gonna go and check that out. It looks so fun. There's gonna be like a temple filled with raccoons.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
Okay, let's go back in the design. So we're building a quote there, and it looks so cool. I'm really loving what we're creating there.
So I just want to give it a little bit more space. I know this type she designed is truly gorgeous. So I really want to, I'm going to move this down. So boom, boom, boom.
It's still the same type that we were using before?
Oh, yeah. It's still conductor. This is conductor bold italic. Mm-hmm. This one is, bold italic. And then this is condensed to bold italic. So that's pretty nice. I think I'm going to make Ellen Lupton's name a different color. And she writes a great book about type. So that's kind of why I'm
where can we find it? Where can we find her?
Ellen Lupton, you can just Google her and you can find her. But she does Thinking with Type. And that was kind of the book I learned about type. So
what is it called again? Sorry?
Thinking with Type.
Thinking with Type. Okay, fantastic.
Yes. So I think I like that. I don't know. Maybe we do it hot pink. No, I think that's too much. I like that because it kind of sandwiches it in.
Yes, a nice balance that make you focus on the actual quote.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna get a little nitty gritty and make a box, and then I'm gonna pull it up here. I just want to make sure that we have the same spacing. Mm-hmm. There we go. It's all about spacing, guys. Those little details count.
The right spacing.
For sure. Yes, the right spacing is very important. So now I have these boxes, these two squares over here. I don't know, what do you guys think should be over here? We could incorporate some of this. Oh, this
should we bring crazy. Some of the other design elements, the other graphic elements in?
I think I'll bring this in. I think we may do a thing that says that this is a documentary, Oh, we lose everything on there. So I'm going to ungroup that and just...
So
There we go.
When King is asking a question, could you speak more about the design concept behind WGD, and how did you decide what kind of content to put on?
Well, we were thinking of being something really bold and in your face, and we came up with this idea of breaking the grid, which is why there's all these elements that tend to be breaking the grid or a little invasive. So we have like the grid pattern, we have these circles that just kind of come in and break boxes up. And then these are like bounding boxes that we're kind of throwing in to kind of reference this graphic design element, because it's not just designers in general. So this is really about graphic designers. So we wanted to be a little bit more industry specific. So that's kind of what the idea is behind this. And then we just developed things around that. And we just wanted it to be very graphical, very eye-catching, so that people would want to stop and say, what is this? What, and should I care about this? Right. So, so that
really
was
bringing
kind of
the attention to the topic straight away.
Yeah. So that's kind of the idea behind this, is really to be a little, little attention grabbing, and in your face, more so than some of the other stuff that we have worked on. Though most of our work is very, pretty loud and a bit in your face as well. We
love
like
it.
to feel it on your face.
As long as it's good design, why not?
Yeah.
So we have besides a raccoon who ruled the world from Jaritma. That's funny. So we have a question in French from 6th class.
Oh gosh.
Please write in English, because je parle français mais je le comprends pas. This is the only thing I can say. So I don't understand French. I can pretend as if I speak French, but I don't understand French. Definitely don't read it. Maybe Italian, but still, please, let's keep the chat in English. So 6th class, more than happy to reply to your question as soon as you translate it. Or maybe you can read the question and reply in English, please.
Let me see, where is it?
It's one of the latest question with a blue icon from 6th class 1.
Okay, yeah, I don't know some of those words, so I cannot.
Big Brother,
Big
Brother.
He translated it, or Spanish.
Yes, I think the Big Brother already replied.
Awesome.
But yeah, we would love to know. So please.
What was the question?
Yes. Yes, please let us know. And then we have some more questions. Let's see if I go up. I think Jaritma is asking, can you explain the circular elements and what does it represent? And also we have Tunk that is already replied, say, I think it's for the object's breathing space.
Yes, it's essentially like a bounding box, right? Because if I just had the bounding box, which is like the bounding box,
the bounding box,
like that, I think it would look a little like unknown of what that is. So if we have objects in them, it works a little bit better, and that's more of a visual decision than a conceptual one.
Yes, completely agree. Arca Prava, we have the link right away. Wade, put the links right there for you. You can also click on the link for submit, because Arca Prava was asking where do we submit the work, and in fact that's a good time to remind that in 15 minutes we are going to jump into review, and then don't worry if you have more work to do after the review, we can always jump back into Illustrator with Naoma. But yeah, in about 15 minutes we're gonna be looking at the work on the server. And fantastic, Wade has already placed the link on behance.net/live on the chat. So if you're following us from YouTube, make sure to head on behance.net/live in order to grab the link and share your Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, because we will be reviewing it very shortly. So well done. We look forward to see your design. What's going on here?
So I'm just
Mm.
gonna place some, I pulled some images to just kind of have some fun. And yes, I would typically do this um, in design. I know, don't get mad at me. But I'm just gonna kind of show you, since we're doing the carousel, it's just a little bit easier. So I'm throwing this in just to add some, we're gonna bring in some photos since tomorrow we'll be bringing in some more photos as well. So I'm
Ooh.
gonna use this box and I'm just gonna clipping mask it.
So we have sixth class, which very kindly has translated with Google Translation and wanted to ask you which shortcut you make several work boards. So what is the shortcut to for the artboards?
Oh, okay. So say I had, it's Shift O and I make an artboard. And let me just move my little face over here so I can do 1920 by 1920. Oh, or 1900, 1920. And then if I want more and I'm copying, sometimes you don't get that perfect thing. So what you can do is Shift O has the artboards and you hit rearrange all. And this is where you can do it like that or like this or like this or down. But we want them to go straight across so that it works as a carousel. We want 0. And then we hit OK. And it just added those 2 last artboards on. Or added an extra one at the beginning too. So it's just kind of rearranged all my work. But that's how you do it. That's really the best way. I'm just going to Command Z that so that I don't lose that.
Yes.
But that's how you did that. I hope that that answered your question.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And we have another question: which channel to post it in? Channel is I think Arca Prava is referring to Discord. In which channel do we post the work? Very good question. We post on Discord under the feedback tab. There is a challenge channel, and that's the correct channel that we'll be reviewing. So the channel is called challenge, and I always make a mess between channel and challenge because I'm dyslexic and that doesn't work. But challenge channel. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your question. And sixth class is saying, okay, thank you so much. So looks like your tip with the artboard was absolutely spot on.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
That's what I love to hear.
I love the photos. I can't wait to see how this is gonna look like in the carousel.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be awesome on the pitch deck. So we'll get really into design. So I'm gonna do this hot pink, and then we're gonna definitely make this. I don't know. Let's see what darken.
Ooh, what's happening there?
Yeah. So we're multiplying a color overlay. So a really quick way to make a photo black and white. So there you go. And this is my cheat way. This photo is in color, right? I'm going to take this black, this is just black. This is just a black box that I'm placing over the image perfectly. And I'll go in there and make sure that it's all aligned, of course, as you guys already know. And I'm going to go to overlay and I'm going to do saturation. And it just makes that photo black and white really quickly.
That's a very amazing tips. Amazing tips coming up today. Everyone is saying, thank you so much. Thank you. And also yes, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, everyone is also thanking Pia because it's giving some advice regarding the challenge and how to publish it on Discord. Thank you so much, Pia. So I think we are almost there. 10 minutes before we go into the challenge.
This has gone so fast.
Yes, we have the last 30 minutes of the stream coming up, so we're gonna do about 20 minutes of review. If you are on YouTube, make sure to head on behance.net/live, so we'll be able to ask your questions and reply to you. Eric, thank you so much. Eric said, nice stream. Looks like he's enjoying spending time here with us. Thank you so much, Eric. It's always nice to see you here in the chat. And also, Alex is saying thank you both. Great to hear your advice and to follow along with you. Don't worry, Alex, we haven't finished yet. We have more to go. And Kat is asking, I've heard you say you like to use InDesign and Illustrator. Which other apps do you like to use?
Well, Adobe does have a lot of other great apps, but since I'm really just only a graphic designer, I really live in Illustrator and InDesign. I do a little bit of Photoshop, but not a ton. We really focus on Illustrator and InDesign. My designer, however, who works for me, she is really into motion graphics, and so she does do a lot of stuff in
After
After
Effects, I believe.
Effects. I was like,
Fantastic.
yes, After Effects, exactly. So those are and I use a lot of Adobe PDF, just the regular that
Yes.
everybody typically has, of course.
Business Duty.
Exactly. Contracts, signing, all that loveliness.
Yes, yes, yes. And speaking on the contract, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to post it today, but I'll definitely make a general contract that I use because someone would say that Adobe should share the contract. I don't know. I'm here a part of an enlarged Adobe family with love with Adobe Live. And the best that I can do is to share with you what I use, the standard contract for my clients for Studio Print My Soul, and hopefully I'll be able to make it available for you to download on my website. Otherwise, I'll just gonna be able to give it to you tomorrow. So we'll see. Depending, all I have to do is to, of course, cover all my brand so you can then personalize it. And Arca Brava is saying, "I love Illustrator," and it's got a rivalry with Photoshop. Um, so there are two factions in the school. Yeah, well, I love all the apps. I think XD is a fantastic app. Um, Depending on what kind of work do you do, I guess that's perhaps the best way
That's
of putting it.
really what I think it comes down to is what you're needing it for. So typically I would have done something like this in InDesign because I have photos and stuff like that. But since we're doing a carousel, I just find it easier to do it in Illustrator, especially when we have some of these vector elements. Sometimes it's just easier to navigate those in Illustrator where you made them.
So
But
Kat Pascal is asking, what is your website? My website is iamclary.com. And if you go to iamclary.com/resources, you'll be able to download a lot of assets. The contract is not ready yet. Hopefully, I'll make it. I'll give you a shout if I make it available, or something else that you can do. And sorry, I'm just gonna jump real quick into my screen, Naoma, while you finish
go
this
for it.
off. And I also want to mention that we are at 5 minutes. I'm going to give you extra, actually 4 minutes, 4 minutes before we jump into Discord. So now it's really time to wrap up and make sure that you will go on Discord in order to submit your work because we'll be going to be jumping there, me and Naoma, to give you live feedback on your Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. And I'm going to jump into my screen real quick because I want to show everyone how to get to my resources so they can grab some freebies while they're here. Hopefully they're going to be able to see it here. Fantastic. So if you head into, and I'm going to zoom in, iamclary.com/resources, you can find a lot of the link of the resources is here. Thank you so much, Wade, also for putting the link there. And you can see many assets. This was yesterday's stream in Photoshop that we did here at Adobe Live, introduction into Photoshop Composite. You have all the assets here, and you have Stranger Things theme, you have a dog logo development, drawing in line shape, a lot of free content here, including, since we're talking about branding, a glossary for branding. So all the keyword for branding I hear in a glossary PDF for you to download. Included some social media assets. Now, probably the best bet, if you want to put your email address into the little box here, I'll be able to share to everyone that is in my mailing list. I definitely don't spam. Don't expect to have resources emailed often because I just do it as much as I can whenever I can. But if you want to have free resources, this is the place to go. And this is where I'm going to place the contract as well that I promised you. But I'm going to jump right back into Naoma's screen because this is looking fabulous.
So I think I've just kind of finished it. But this is a little too bright for me. So I'm going to knock it down to maybe 50%, just so that I can see the whole trim view. So that's what that swipe will look like, that carousel.
Oh.
So I think there's some things that we can still add here and there. Like I think we can still bring in some of these grid.
Yes.
Over here.
Because I think there is a lot going on at the beginning with the title, because of course the type is very nice and bold. And I think that if we use some of the lovely elements that you created and sort of distribute it along, it carries through the theme. But it's looking fantastic. The color palette is so energizing.
I love color, so I'm all for it. I'm excited to see what everybody else has also chosen for their colors on Discord here in like, what, 3 minutes we have?
Yes. I'm giving, let's say 2 minutes timer before we go and head into Discord. So make sure to submit. I'm going to start from the very latest work. So I'm going to try to catch the latest submission. Hopefully we're going to find many lovely, and actually going to go ahead and give a sneaky peek to see how many submission we have for our lovely wristband here. Let's see. Looks like it's been a very busy day. Oh, they're looking beautiful. We have a little bit of we have quite a lot to review already. So one more minute, everyone, before we jump into the review on Discord. And once more, if you don't know how to submit your work, there is a link above the chat to head into Illustrator Discord channel, and the right channel to submit your work is the feedback challenge. So hopefully we'll see you there very shortly. Fantastic. I think he's doing a great job there. That grid, Naoma, is looking very cool.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that this is all centered. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a detailed analyzing that spacing. So I want to bring back that arrow that we had in the poster. And I think that'll be it.
It looks fantastic.
Well,
so at the end of the stream, we're gonna repeat again. I'm gonna share with everyone your Instagram, and hopefully we'll be able to see this carousel coming up.
Maybe not immediately after.
No, not immediately, of course. But if we follow you with that, we will be able to see it as soon as you actually post it. So I'm just gonna share your social media at the end of the stream, just to make sure that we can catch up with you whenever this beauty is gonna go out, because it's looking fantastic.
For sure. There we go. So I'm gonna bring that in right there.
So I think it's time to jump into Discord. What do you think, Naoma?
I say let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna just share screen. If you want to jump into Discord from your machine as well, because unfortunately we're not sitting next to each other. Brazil here putting one last minute submission. I just saw it coming through. I'm gonna hit refresh one more time. Make sure to head on the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge in order to see your latest submissions and in order for us to review your work. So here we are. I'm gonna move myself a little bit lower because it looks like that we are quite big here into the chat. Let me see what's going on here. And I should be able just to move myself. I'm just gonna fly on the side of the artboard. Let's see if I can make it happen. Maybe I'm gonna move ourselves. We're just literally jumping on the corner, Naoma. We're literally separated for a little bit now. We've been sitting next to each other until now, but I think it's nice and cool to leave space to all this beautiful artwork. Fantastic. Looks like we're good to go. Arca Prabha is excited. We look forward to see your work. Pia, thank you so much. And I think that we're going to have still 10 minutes of work with Naoma once we finish to do the review. So stay tuned. There is still about 20 minutes to go. So let's look at this fantastic artwork and wristband created during the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. So Naoma, I'm going to put it into the screen, and I'm going to start from the very bottom one, which is under Brazil here from Gabriel Cabral. If you want to start to give some feedback, hopefully you can see it on screen as well. It features an orange and a pink wristband.
Yeah, I feel like I've inspired the color palette a little bit. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I love the colors. I think that this is really nice. I think we have a little bit of legibility issues with the type. But it's because we have this fantastic texture that you have behind, and you're just kind of covering it up a little bit with the type. So I think it would be really nice if we had maybe not a drop shadow on this Brazil Arts Festival, so that we could see that really pretty texture that you've made. And then I think I really like the idea of putting the I don't know, the pass type on the edge. I think that that's really nice and clever. I think that that could even be another color, like that you could be swapping this pink and orange together so that you could create a little bit more contrast.
Sounds
But
so
I think
fantastic advice.
but I think that these as wristbands work really great because you could see them really easily. I'm just thinking design wise, if this was at a festival, you could tell if that VIP person was in the right spot or not, which is really good.
Yes, absolutely. So something that I might want to add is that I don't know if you can see Naoma, but it looks like Gabriel tried to add already a layer underneath, sort of transparent box. Maybe if you zoom
Oh,
in
I see
a
it.
little bit. And my advice is that, go bold. Maybe you can use a different color just to create, probably was feeling the issue with the texture underneath with the legibility, so it was already bring it there. Maybe bring the opacity a little bit up on the box that you created in behind the typeface, and maybe use a gray color like the color they use for the background, a neutral color, or just use that to mask out the texture under the typography, just to again increase legibility. But wonderful work. I love it looks like it's it's a art festival. Very,
It
very
looks
fun.
like an art
Yes,
festival.
looks very cool. Oh, Tonk, you're very lucky. We got a last minute submission. You just made it like, well, it's definitely worth watching the fantastic work that you've done. So Tanki took his time not only to create amazing wristband, but also to mock them up. So let's give him some good feedback here.
Oh, these are really fun. I mean, I could see these actually being more used as bracelets after whatever festival this is.
Yes.
So I think that's
Can I
really a
keep
good
them?
job, right? So I think that's really good. I'd really love to know what type of festival this was for, so I could give you a little bit better feedback on the concept. But I think the colors are very interesting, and I tend to not really like this green, but it works really well with this light pink and red. So I think that that works really nice.
What
I
is it
think
called?
that,
The game with all the pixels. I'm so bad at
oh,
gaming.
Tetris.
Tetra.
That's like, think about
I
it.
know that one. I know that one. Oh my gosh,
But
it's
I
not coming to me. But yeah, I will definitely think about that. But it looks like one of those, pixelated video game.
I could
And
see this as a gaming convention
yes.
wristband for sure. I would say that the box that you have behind VIP is way too big, that you can really shrink that down or spell out VIP, like very important person. That could be kind of interesting to see.
Oh, that'll be very
Um,
cool. That'd be
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah, Minecraft. Yes, Wade. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
It looks like Minecraft, like gaming sort of stuff. I'm like, you know that game? Of course, Minecraft. Yeah, thank you so much, Wade. Tunkit said, is the festival of pixel love. Of course, we
Oh, well
definitely
then for
carry
sure.
that through. Probably one little feedback that I will add is to make sure to add a color difference in the palette, because the inside of the color, I get it, is different, and the one that have VIP and the other one doesn't have VIP, but we really want to know, ooh, as VIP with a, very fast, so we can direct them to the right place. So maybe try to play with a recolor, edit and recolor in order to create a different variation of color palette. Fantastic. Oops.
Yeah, I would
Look
agree
like
with that one.
I super zoomed here, so I'm a bit lost. Here it is. And we have another one from Ayushi, looking fantastic here with patterns.
Ooh, they are fun. Is this like this looks like some sort of flower festival?
Yes.
Um, because we have these flower. I hope that that's right. I would say that I think what would be more important would be the VIP access and the visitors rather than the date. But overall, I think that this is really interesting. I really wish that the patterns would kind of match a little bit more, like the same treatment that you have on the roses, where you have this kind of like blob of color and then white texture to make the rose outline. I think that that would have been really interesting to see in the sunflowers. And I don't think that you need this gradient. I would keep, oh, it says gradient, right? You need a
Yes.
gradient.
Yes. We need to play with.
Well, I would have put the gradient in the flowers, just because I would want that wristband to be really colorful and really bright so that it's very legible, from anybody at any sort of festival.
What about placing the gradient on top of the pattern? So it just kind of like levels out and makes everything looks the same. So the gradient take over and we kind of give the same treatments instead of having the pattern on top. So it just kind of,
Oh
we
yeah,
multiply the gradient on top and we cover the colors, so it becomes a
that,
little bit more unique. But I agree with you regarding the visitors and VIP. We really need to make a difference and perhaps change positioning with the date. So that will be the most important um, feature to see in a wristband. And of course, the color helps a lot, absolutely. But the
mhm.
typeface is very ornated and detailed, so you either make it bigger, and why not? You can stretch the type a little bit more. But very well done. You can definitely get the sense, Ayushi, of what is about.
Oh,
Ooh,
thank
RGB,
you.
you rushed and you turned out this beautiful, beautiful gradient. Naoma, I look forward to your
Oh,
feedback. I know you love bold colors,
I'm
so
into this color. I'm into this color. B8. I'm not sure what festival this is, but I want to go just because of the colors.
yes, can we
Um,
go? Can we have a VIP one,
right?
please? Very
I don't know
exciting.
what the VIP one is, but I'll take one. I think these are really fun. I think it's also fun that you've decided to make a square, as that's kind of where the wristband would go through. But I don't think that you need this big old block of white to take away from this color that you have. So I think that that would be interesting to reduce that down, and to then put the type of um of path that is.
So our friend Arca Praba is actually RGB. So we have a secret nickname on Discord. Well, Arca Praba, it looks fantastic. Very well done. You can definitely tell that you're making use of the time that you have here on Adobe Live, and you've done a fantastic job. I love the way that the date is sitting beautifully under the line. I think is very well considered. Maybe if you really want to be an alignment freak, you can bring the date at the same level of the box at the end, just to keep everything aligned to the eye, if it makes sense. So probably if I can show with the mouse, it looks a little bit better. So bring an alignment here. So bring in a ruler down here and move the date, so you give a little bit of breathing space on the top. We really need to move on because the time is ticking. I don't think that today we'll be able to jump back into your work. We're going to definitely wrap it up and show what you've done so far, but we're going to review a few more. Here it is. This is nice and colorful. Two more, and then we talk about what we've done today with Naoma before we say goodbye. So looks nice and colorful. Wristband, and let me see who's created this one. Manal.
These look so fun. I'm not sure what the power of art. It's an art festival. Yeah, these are really great. I think it's actually kind of interesting that you've also used primary colors. So that's really a nice add-on. I think that the date is a little too big. I would have made that tiny. That's not totally necessary compared to the VIP access. I think also you have this beautiful texture and color, and I think that the type that you've selected is a little too traditional, where if we would have gone with a really harsh sans serif, that would have really made this look a lot more modern, which is what the other side of the wristband is giving me.
I agree. Beautiful, vibrant color, very geometric, and this brush coming out will really want some sans serif nice display font. But overall, fantastic color balance, fantastic color palette. I think you've done a fantastic job. Okay, so very well done. Thank you so much for displaying. We got more. Should we do one more? One more?
We can do one more.
We got, yes, because then we got like 3 minutes. I want to run through the schedule because there is a fantastic day, and I also want to kind of recap what we've done today. So I'm going to just let you give feedback.
Okay. Are we on the
red and yellow? Yes.
Okay. Yes. This looks like Acme, which I'm in love with. I love that there's this big type, and you've used that more as a graphic element than just type. I think general is a little too spaced out. I would have tracked that in just a little bit. But I think this is really well done. I love that you have this big black box with the logo of the festival. I think that this is very readable. I would have gone with the yellow. I think I would have done this blue. I would have made it that same black just to reiterate, kind of tie those two together.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for submitting your work. And it's probably the last one. Oh, there are more. There are so many more. I think we have run out of time for today. I can see so many fantastic wristbands. You guys have done a lovely job, and fantastic job, Sandy, as well. Thank you so much for posting. And don't forget that once you post it on Discord, you always have the chance of have our live feedback, but in Discord, and I'm gonna zoom out so you can see, there are all these wonderful mentors. There is Andrew, Cradle, Julia, me, Rocky, moderators, and the fantastic team on Adobe. They're there to help you answer your question and give you feedback. Not to mention the wonderful community of designers. There are about 1,000 people online right now, so make sure to take advantage of this safe space to showcase your work, get feedback, and of course help out, because you can share your feedback with your fellow designer as well. And we got about 2 minutes. And Naoma, before we wrap it up and we show what we have done today, I really want to take a minute to talk about the schedule, because it's a very busy day. Keep going here at Adobe Live. In fact, after us, we have Jessie, which I can also see in the chat. Hi, Jessie. Thank you so much for joining us. Jessie will be joining you very soon with an Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. So make sure to stay tuned, because the fun keeps going here at Adobe Live. Followed by the lovely Kyle Webster with Draw Along. Yesterday, I used one of Kyle's brushes in Photoshop to create some wonderful clouds. And the day will be closed by the wonderful Vuduval and Meredith Schomburg with a design off session. To make sure to stay tuned, because it's a fantastic day filled of beautiful creative challenges here. And I'm gonna switch back to your screen, Naoma, just so you can show us again a real quick what we've done today. So we started from another design, and if you want, we got like 1 or 2 minutes to kind of like go over real quick what we've done today.
All right, so we kind of polished up this poster. We aligned some stuff and we redid it. We redid some of this alignment and just made sure everything was nice and clean so that we could be pulling, so that we could make this beautiful carousel with Illustrator. So this is going to be the basis for our pitch deck tomorrow. So this is a really good way for us to just see how a layout can function with all these colors and all these elements. So tomorrow we'll be bringing in a lot more photos and seeing how that all works out. So you can probably see this on my Instagram pretty soon.
Yes, and
And
actually, let
thank
me
you
jump
for,
real quick onto your Instagram. I think I have it here ready to go before we say goodbye. If you want to follow Naoma, make sure to head to instagram.com/nowserna. And if you follow her, actually, I'm going to give her a follow right now, live. If you follow her, make sure to stick around so we can see her beautiful carousel coming to life. But I think it's time to say goodbye. So as you see, I'm going to jump back to your beautiful screen so we can see the colors. Naoma's created both assets for print and for web, for social media in Illustrator. And stay tuned because tomorrow we're going to travel in InDesign and see how we can transform and use these assets in the wonderful InDesign app. Do we know what we're going to be creating tomorrow?
we'll be creating a pitch deck for the documentary. So something
Ooh.
that they're going to be sending to get money to make the documentary.
Fantastic. That's a very useful thing to know how to learn. But thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Wade, for being so helpful and sharing all these useful links. It was fantastic to spending the time with you. If you want to follow me, you can find me under I am Clary on any social media. And I will definitely catch you tomorrow with our wonderful Naoma for more branding and identity here on Adobe Live. Thank you so much for being together with us today. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.